4 months later, and we're back. We don't have a lot to show for it just yet, but I do want to share my story. My name is Bree. If you followed me before, you probably followed me because I was a reader and I shared my channeled messages. I don't necessarily read anymore. Life has been insane for the last year, especially the last 4 months. I've been working on a lot of projects, but I keep getting hacked. I'm being followed, and I just want to share my story since awakening in 2021. So if you're interested, stay tuned. What I'm about to say, I'm going to say it with the most compassion and respect that I can about my frustrations about the situation that I'm in. It is a very scary situation, and it is not to be taken lightly. So for anybody that has gone through gang stalking, literal stalking, hacking, all of that, it's not a joke. And for the people that are close to you that don't want to believe, maybe they have a part in it, maybe they don't, but they don't want to believe, they want to brush it off. It's very unfortunate for the person going through it. I am now having people delete my contacts, block my messages, block incoming messages. They're able to delete things. Almost being ran off the road. I'm literally targeted for what? I moved to Georgia a year ago, and I have literally done nothing but try to work on what I started in Florida, and it has become a shit show. I have not had privacy since I moved to Georgia, and it's to the point to where now it's so intense that I am in fear of my life and my safety every day. They're tracking my every move. Anything that's sent, they're seeing the location. It's not just one people, it's multiple people, different cars. They trade off, they try to block me in on the roads. The cops don't want to do anything because it's multiple cars. It sounds crazy. I feel for all the people that have been a victim of any kind of violence, that have tried to get the attention of enforcement or whatever it is, and they didn't want to take it seriously until something happens, because that's how I feel right now. And sitting back and being quiet, I'm still trapped. Talking about it, either way, it's the same thing. So for the people that sit back and watch and find this funny, I'll leave it at that. But it's not funny. It's been tormenting, which I'm sure was the purpose of that, plus other things. But it's not funny. And I'm tired of it. So I will catch all of you guys up when I can get these people off of my back, or when I can feel safe again. I will continue to share, but until then, take things seriously when people tell you stuff like this, because it's not a joke, and it's not being dramatic. I feel like I have done as much as I can at this point to try to get the things that are happening to stop happening. My phone is cloned, my devices are being tampered with, my alarms are getting turned off, my location is being set somewhere else than I am. There are things that are being pinned in my maps, and especially that are close to me when I'm not in that location, and I just feel like somebody's going to try to dump me in a ditch and then say that I'm in a location that I'm not, when I'm literally just trying to get out of all this. Like, I have a brand new SIM card, a new phone. It's so exhausting, and I'm so over it. I feel like I keep asking for help and nobody has any answers, and I've done all I can do. And I just am afraid. Like, I feel like somebody is just trying to dump me off somewhere and then say that I'm somewhere that I wasn't, when I'm literally just trying to get out of this shit. So if anything happens, it's not because of me. Like, I just want to stay alive, live my life, and do the things that I want to do, but apparently people have other plans. First off, I hate posting videos like the one last night, because that was an anxiety attack, and I can manage the things that I'm going through, even though it's the most frustrating thing, because I can always get back up, but it's just like it's for no reason. Like, I'm being targeted for no reason, and if there is a reason, it's people know the reason, but they're protecting themselves and they're keeping it to themselves, or they're using it to their advantage. And being followed and being gang stalked, my phone being hacked, whatever, like, it's probably always been a thing, I just wasn't aware of it. But now it's like I have veterans that are following me, which is so annoying. I don't understand why veterans would be following me unless they are part of the gang stalking. It would be nice to know that I have veterans following me for my protection, but it doesn't seem that way. By the way, a lot of these gang stalkers wear these headsets and they communicate with each other, right? Like, they talk to each other, they have their own lingo, and they're coming out of the stores and they're saying what's up to each other. Like, they make eye contact, or they nod, or they have the things on, and it's annoying for somebody who has literally had to watch over their back their entire life. And you tell people these things that are going on, and it's like, it's almost like they know, but they're acting stupid for their own benefit. And so last night when I was having that anxiety attack, it's because people play on my emotions, and it's not random people, it's people that I'm closest to. They take that and they run with it, and they play on my emotions, and they instill fear in me, and it helps them get a rise and feel good about themselves, to watch me struggle, right? To watch me in fear. So it's like they set up these things, these illusions, to literally instill fear and put me in a panic. And if they get me in the right time, in the right place, when I'm already like been locked out of my phone, or I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, which is something that happens every single day, which is I'm not posting on here because it's every day. I'm literally jumping through hoops. But it's like these people want to play on my emotions, and then they want to act stupid. They want to act like they have no part in it, when they know good and well that they have a part in it, and they know what they're doing, and so do I. But I just so happen to be in a situation right now where I moved back home to Georgia a year ago, and that's when all of this got so bad. And I left Orange Theory, I left my job because I came back to be with family, to start my creative endeavors, and that was it. That was my move. And since then, this has been going on, and it's like, I keep getting backed into a wall, and a lot of it is my fault, because I let this fear bring me down for too long. Not that it brings me down for too long, but I get sucked up in it because I'm afraid that somebody's literally trying to take me out, because I just can't understand what I have that people are coming after me for. Because if they're solely coming for me as a person, I just can't imagine this many people putting in that much work. So it's almost like there's something that I have that I don't know about that people are coming after. And it's like, the thing is like, nobody will say how they feel about me to my face. They don't have any issues with me to my face, but yet they go and do everything behind my back. But then they act like they're not doing anything. They act like I'm crazy, I'm tripping, I'm this and that, when I'm literally jumping through hoops every day just to be able to function. And they're like, you just need to get over it, or you just need to do this, or you just need to go get this kind of job, and you just need to go get this. Yeah, that's exactly what everybody wants me to do, is just roll over and do whatever the fuck they want me to do. And I'm not doing it. So this page is going to get deleted, because I'm tired of talking about it. But when I come on here and I post things like that, it's because people are playing in my emotions, and they're setting these traps and these illusions to literally make me be in fear more than I already am, to make it seem like my life is in danger. And I don't doubt that it is majority of the time, because whose life wouldn't be in danger when they're being monitored 24/7 and they're being followed 24/7? But I hate having to look back and see that I post those kind of things, because it it's vulnerable, one, but also it's like that's the only thing I'm coming on to talk about. But those are the times that I literally think somebody's about to like throw me in a ditch and kill me. And it's just because people want to play on my emotions, and then they want to act dumb because they get a rise out of it. And it's just, it's gross. It's disgusting. And I'm honestly sick of people pretending like they're good people just because they lie about what they do behind closed doors. Just because they're good at being fucking fake. Just because they have a whole group together to team up, to have their back. Imagine if you have so many people coming towards you, at you all at one time, and you're still standing. Like, it's just disgusting. It's gross. And I'm not going to be in this situation for forever, I will tell you that. And when I get out of it, all of you that are coming for me are going to be in for a run for your money. And you're not getting what's mine. But you have to keep in mind that my life has been strategically controlled, and just they have done everything in their power to try and keep me from finding out who I truly am. There are a lot of TIs who can who have similar stories, and the majority of us have had our memory wiped from us on multiple occasions, which, you know, it takes a long time for us to figure that out and for the memories to come back. And so the stories or the events that I'm going to share are going to sound unbelievable. They're not going to sound like this is not your typical everyday life. Like, this is going to sound like something off of a horror movie or just a movie in general. It's not going to seem believable, but my hand on the Bible, everything that I speak on is the truth. Typically I would have the receipts to back it up, but they have demolished every bit of evidence that I've had, even up until the other day. Just for reference, if you're listening to my podcast, the majority of the information that I'll share up until it really wasn't until, so from basically September of 2022 until May of 2023, that was like the time in between those months in that year. That's when the gang stalking started. But it wasn't, the gang stalking started, and there was a lot of weird things. I kept getting set up back to back to back to back to back in these really weird like just experiences through my friends. The hacking, that was really, really crazy. But it wasn't until I came back from Florida in May of last year, 2023, when basically I'm pretty sure they were trying to set me up to get me trafficked, like abducted. And then from there, the things that happened after that is where I got stuck in a house, is where I was being poisoned, is where I got drugged, the near-death experiences or possible death, I'm not too sure, which I'll explain all of that, but that won't be coming until I've got to get through this other stuff first. So I promise that it will seem more like true crime, like the deeper things once I get through the first half of it. So right now you're just hearing the majority of like the gang stalking stuff. So I'm trying to get through it as quick as I can, but I feel like there's so much detail because it's like such a mystery that I feel like I have to put all the detail in for the people that are listening so that they can put it together and make it make sense. And even then, like when I play it back, I'm like, oh yeah, there's this important information about this person hiding this pregnancy and this person hiding this, and you know, there's just so much detail. But I'm gonna get through it. If you're listening to it, just be patient. I promise it gets a lot more interesting. But yeah, and if you're listening, thank you for listening. I'm trying to get to 100 100 plays so that I can start to build a community and monetize off of it. So, if you're listening, thank you.
Capture everything. Capture everything.
Just excuse my hair and the way I look. I've been crying because just the government is so corrupt. These experiments and these programs are just so sinister. Confirmation. Exactly. And it's really heartbreaking to be a subject of these programs. It's debilitating, and it feels helpless, and it doesn't matter who you have help you unless you are the person experiencing it. It still feels like it still feels just crazy. But I did want to say that I just started posting about some stuff that was happening in that basement, which is the next half of the podcast, where I said it gets really interesting. This part was like the most traumatic. The whole thing has been traumatic, the gang stalking, but this is where they pushed me into basically staying with somebody, and I was in a basement with this person and their family, and they did some really, really, really sinister, cruel things that nobody should ever have to experience. And I'm going to start going through them on the next part of my podcast. So I'll be posting that soon. I'll be recording and posting all that soon. But if you haven't listened to my podcast, it's a little boring right now. But I'm about to get into what happened from there forward. And from there forward, it's just been absolutely insane until my mom kicked me out over a lie, saying that I looked up Virginia basketball on her computer when I have a MacBook, and I wouldn't look up basketball. So I've been in my car for the last few months. But anyways, I'm about to get into that. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. If not, the next part is going to be super interesting. All this stuff is 100% real. Trigger warning, it's this stuff should be on true crime, and a lot of the stuff, the majority of the stuff that we experience, targeted individuals, these people, human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking, all this, like the corruption from the government, this shit should be documented. And this is the stuff that should be on the news, but we get fed fake news instead, just to distract you from what they're really doing to their own people. So be on the lookout for that. Some of these things are hard to hear, they're hard to digest, they're hard to believe. But if you haven't been in that situation, don't judge. Just be grateful that it's not you. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I'll share more soon, and hopefully at some point when I get this out, I can let it go and move on. Because I'm so sick of this consuming my life. And it doesn't matter where I go, it still just consumes my life. And the same for all of us. Like, it doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't matter who we're with. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. Anyways, if this reaches any current targeted individuals, people that are experiencing this, my heart goes out to you. And just know that you are stronger and have more courage than the majority of these cowards out here. I'm gonna give you a synopsis of my last 2 years, because this shit is a fucking mystery to me, and it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any fucking sense at all. So I'm gonna give you a synopsis of my last 2 to 3 years, and maybe somebody can fill in the fucking pieces, because this shit is like a mystery. And all the while, I've just been getting my ass kicked for like the last 2 years, wondering what the fuck is going on. What the fuck is going on? And what is this big secret that nobody can fucking tell me about? And yeah, I'm getting fucking blamed. I'm getting fucking shunned. I'm getting shut out when I've had proof for all the things that have happened to me. There's no reason that I should have even been fucking treated the way that I've been treated. So I'm gonna give you a synopsis of my last couple years since I literally left Florida, the greatest time of my life, right? In Florida, single, healing, on my own journey, having a great fucking time. Then I go home for moral support, and then my life
fucking turns into shit. Okay, so hold please. I'm gonna give you a synopsis. Okay, let's start with September of 2022. Okay, my sister's supposed to move in with me. She doesn't move in with me. She doesn't hit me up to tell me she's not going to move in with me. I have to hit her up and say, hey, are you coming to move in with me? Because if she doesn't, then I'm going to move home, because I needed to be held. I needed moral support. It was still like the greatest time of my life, but I was hurting, and I felt like because I'd healed, me and my family were getting closer. We were kind of getting closer through the deaths in the family. And so I thought that they were going to be able to be there for me the way I was there for them over the phone. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go home if she's not going to come. Well, she said she was going to come, quit her job to move up there with me, wasn't going to have to pay for anything. I was getting assistance from the government because of COVID, and my classes at OTF were getting cut. So I was getting assistance through that. And then I was working Instacart and dog sitting. And so I was like, you'll be taken care of. You can get a job whenever you come up here. It'll be fine, you know? So she quits her job. And then she doesn't tell me she's not going to move. And I hit her up and I'm like, hey, you're going to come move with me? And she's like, oh, no, it's not a no, but it's a not right now. And I'm like, cool. So you weren't going to tell me that you weren't going to move? Like, I just planned on you moving here and you just weren't going to tell me. So she's like, well, I'm still going to come up for the weekend. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. Just be honest with me. Like, I don't care whatever you do, but like, be transparent with me. Stop wasting my time. So then it's about time for her to come up for the weekend. And I'm like, hey, are you going to come up for the weekend? And she's like, no, I have to watch my mom's dogs. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you just let me know? Why didn't you just let me know? So then I'm like, okay, if they're not going to come to me, I'm going to go home to them. So I'm going to pack my stuff, send a notice, was like, I'm going to leave within a month, and then I'm going to be out. I'm going to go to my dad's. Had a conversation with my dad, was like, hey, just left Orange Theory. A lot of toxic stuff was going on in Orange Theory, which I'm not going to get into. It doesn't really matter. Going to start this creative route. Can I move in with you for 2 months? I'm going to get these things going, and then I'm going to take me and my cat, and we're going to travel to Colorado. We're going to travel to Oregon. I'm going to go see my friends, and then, like, I just need to get started pretty much, and like, I need a break. All I've done is work my entire life, and I want to do these creative things, and I need to be, like, in a sense, taken care of for a second. And I know it's a lot to ask, but, like, are we willing to do that? I thought this was like a way for us to get closer, and it was agreed upon. And so I moved there, and then when I get there, there's an incident where my dad gets mad. He closes the dog in a door, smashes the dog in the door. The dog cries, get me PTSD. I tried to handle it as best as I could. Hadn't lived with him since I was 15, which kind of left in a similar incident like that. It gave me PTSD. I was triggered. I don't know what to say. And I tried to go handle it, tried to talk it out with them. They didn't want to talk it out. That was fine. So I went and handled it on my own. And then they're like, we don't want you isolating. You know, you just need to put your head down, get over it. And I'm like, I can only help the trigger so much. Like, I got triggered, and I'm trying to handle it the best that I can. And, like, so I don't piss you off. But I can't not be emotional, because that's just who I am. And so, like, I'm trying to, like, work around it. We're trying to work around each other. So anyways, that didn't work out. So I ended up moving in with my mom. Okay, so that was already, like, that was September to the end of October. So that was already, like, a month, 2 months where that was out the window. So from there, I go to my mom's, and I'm there from the end of October, so basically Halloween, until basically January 1st, until New Year's. I find out that my mom is hacking me. She's tracking my car. And, you know, I found like 7 unrecognized devices. Well, I actually found the devices that were connected to my Apple ID. I found all these things. My number was being rerouted to a woman in Covington, which lived down the street from my mom, who worked for a school system. There were all these addresses listed to my name. There was a lot going on, and some of the things came back to, like, trace back to her, in a sense. And it didn't have her name physically on it, but there was proof, okay? So from there, I mean, there were phones that were connected to my Apple ID that were in the house, okay, that I wasn't using. So anyways, I'm like, I've got to get out of here. It's always an argument with her. She's always trying to tell me I'm sick, always trying to tell me there's something wrong with me, but never wants to take accountability. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. This isn't going to work. I knew it wasn't going to work with her, but I thought it might. I don't know. So my friend, okay, my 2 friends, this used to be my manager, kind of somebody that I dated in a sense. And then his buddy, and his buddy was a photographer for me and my fiance. He always did our photo shoots, and we always did photo shoots for his company, right? So he was like, you can come stay at my warehouse, you can rent a room. And I was like, okay, cool. So went to dinner with them New Year's Eve, and then by January 1st I was moving in with him in the warehouse in Atlanta. Okay, I get to this warehouse and everything is okay to begin with. I tell my friend, my old manager, what's going on, what I think my mom is doing. Tell him in confidence. I'm sure he tells my friend, which I didn't really tell my friend because we weren't close like that. So I didn't really tell him. But I mean, I told him a little bit what was going on, but I didn't say specifics, okay? But I'm pretty sure he told my friend. Anyways, everything was okay at first. And then my two best friends that were my best friends in Florida, they were a married couple, okay? They set me up, okay? The husband said he was in town for his birthday, came to hang out with me. I thought she was with him. He came by himself, and then he gets there, and the wife calls, and he's like, oh no. Or he's like, don't text her back yet. I haven't told her I'm coming here. I didn't tell her I was here, or something like that. And I'm like, why would you not tell her that you were here? Like, first of all, I thought she was with you, and why would you not tell her? Because we all hang out together, so like, it's just weird that you wouldn't tell her that. So he's getting into an argument with her. It ends up, she calls me and she's like, basically like, he's cheating on me with you. And I'm like, no, the fuck, that's not what went down. Hold on. So anyways, she doesn't even give me a minute to explain. I'm like, he didn't tell you that he was here. That's not my problem. Like, I thought that he told you. I was about to text you back, and he told me not to text you back yet because he said he didn't tell you that he was here. And then he goes outside and says he's going to talk to you. And then he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm going to hit you up on my way out of town, as if he didn't come here. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going along with his story, but I am going to give him a second to tell her, like, and be honest, because that's your fucking husband and that's your fucking wife. You lied to her, not me. So like, either you tell her or I'm going to end up telling her, but I'm going to give you a chance to be honest with your wife first, or else I'm going to tell her, you know? So then she calls me and she's like, basically saying I'm like trying to break up their marriage and shit. And I'm like, no. Let's not get that twisted. Trying to tell her what happened. And she's just like not trying to hear it. And so then he leaves, and then he texts me and he says, never reach out to me and my wife again. So she's calling me. She's not even giving me a chance to explain. I'm like, this is not my fault by any means. I thought you were with him. And then I find out as I'm about to text you back that you don't even know that he's here. Hold on. So I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? All my shit's hacked. They just set me up. Like, there's no way that they just, either they set me up or they really think I'm just a piece of shit. Like, why would he fucking lie like that? Oh, why would he lie? Like, fuck him and fuck his fucking feelings. I would fucking be honest with you any fucking day. I'm not covering for his fucking fuck ass. Like, what the fuck? So that pissed me off, but they didn't even give me a chance to, she didn't give me a chance to explain. She just took it and ran with it and blocked me and was like, that's it, it's a wrap. And I'm like, okay, well, you can deal with your cheating ass husband then, because that wasn't on me. Let's go to part 2. Mind you, but when he got to the warehouse, he got there late, right? And we were going to get ready to go out. I didn't really want to go out, but it was his birthday. I didn't really drink like that anymore, but it was his birthday. So I was like, I'll go out for his birthday. That's it. He was like, I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. I don't know where I'm going to sleep. And I'm like, I don't know where you're going to sleep either, because I don't have a place for you to sleep. I only have this bed and we're not sleeping in the same bed. So like, I don't know where you're going to sleep either. But he's like, I think I've been here before. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Well, he ends up telling me that he knows. Okay, so the guy that I'm living with, an old friend of mine, his best friend was my old manager, right? Well, his brother works with the husband that just faked me out, that just set me up pretty much. Okay, so we all somehow know each other, but I didn't know everybody knew each other. So that's that. So after that, things in the warehouse get a little weird. Like, the energy is shifted. I get a sense that my friend and his friend, which is the security guard that stays there, it's the only other person that lives there, is filming me and watching me or surveillancing me. But I don't bring it up to them. I can just tell their energy's weird. Every time I come around, if they're talking, they like, I can tell they're talking about me, especially the security guard. Security guard's trying to sit there and talk me out of like my connection with the divine and tell me it's not a real connection, and like just trying to fake me out of my own spot. And I'm like, dude, if you don't believe anything, that's your beliefs. But like, you're not about to tell me, you're not about to psych me out of my beliefs. Like, I don't come into your space and say, hey, you don't believe in shit. Like, it's not true, you know? So like, so that's that. So I'm just like, what is going on? Okay, so then I have this guy from Indiana. Mind you, the couple that set me up, the wife is from Indiana, okay? I have this guy who reaches out to me that's a producer, apparently works for Taylor Swift, has worked with Taylor Swift before. Hits me up and he's like, hey, I'm a producer. Come out to Indiana, we can make some music. And I'm like, well, I need to get out of Georgia anyway. I don't really know what's going on. This is the first person that I've spoken to that's been through an awakening, is talking about the divine. So I'm like, immediately feel a sense of, you know, connectedness with him because I've never met anybody that's like gone through an awakening. So he's like, you know, it's a stretch, but I'll invite you out here. You can come stay with me, and we'll make some music and go from there. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I plan to go out there for like a month. We're gonna make some music, all that, blah, 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 blah. Before I even get up there, okay, I start to have like hesitations because he's like trying to insinuate that I'm his twin flame. He just keeps telling me over and over, I'm his twin flame. And I'm like, you're not my twin flame. I'm sorry. Like, and he's like, well, the divine is telling me like, you're not seeing this. And I'm like, I don't care what the divine is telling you. I'm in line with the divine, and the divine is going to go off of how I feel. Like, I'm connected to the divine, and I've always been that way. If something doesn't feel right for me, then it's a no. And like, it's not feeling that way for me, so it's a no. Like, I don't care what the divine is telling you. I do, however, think that I'm supposed to run into this guy and we're supposed to work together on part of our healing path. And so I'm like trying to push through it, but I'm like, I'm not your twin flame, dude. I'm sorry. Like, and the more that I like reject this, he's like starting to get irritated with me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it just is what it is. So anyways, when I get there, he tells me that I'm endangered by my family, and you know, I was in trouble by my family. Basically, like, there were people after my family, or my family was after me, something like that. Tells me the only safe place for me to be is his house in Indiana. And he's like, you've got to share your story. You've got to share your story, but you've got to share the whole thing. And I'm like, but I don't even know the whole thing because I don't understand what's happening. First of all, I don't have memories as a child. So like, the only memories I have are like a few fucked up incidents where I'm getting taken from my mom. I'm getting like, bad things are happening. So like, that's the only thing that I truly remember. So he's like, he just keeps saying, well, you got to tell the whole story if you're going to tell it. And I'm like, but I don't have the whole story. I'm not understanding. And how do you know all these things about my life, but I don't know about them? Like, why are you holding these things over my head and you're not telling me? But like, that doesn't make any sense. So anyways, I end up getting spiritually attacked. I'd never been attacked like this before spiritually. Got super attacked one night, like a psychic attack. He ends up telling me, oh yeah, the divine is sending me downloads all night telling me that your ex is doing spell work on you. And I'm like, maybe, but like, I never had an attack like this with my ex. So I don't feel like it is my ex doing it on me because this never happened when I was with her. So it's just weird that it would happen when I'm in your house and you're telling me the only safe place is your house. And this is the only time I've ever been attacked like this is here. So like, it's not making sense to me. And then you're telling me I'm your twin flame, and then you're telling me I'm in trouble by my family, and then you have all these things that you know about me, but you can't tell me until I tell my whole story. But I don't know my whole story, so how am I going to share my story? So I'm like mind fucked because I'm like, this just does not make sense. Okay. After the attack, and then I find out, I'm like, I think that he is hacking my shit too. For reasons that I'm not going to go into. If I know, I know. I ended up finding proof, and the day that I found proof, it's like my phone was being mirrored to him or something. So he sees it and he comes out of the room. As I'm finding the proof on my phone, it's like linking up, mirroring, I don't know. He comes out of the room and he says, laughing. And he's like, laughing, and he says, now you know not to sleep on yourself. And I said, it scared me. Like, it frightened me because I'm like, what does that mean? Like, are you gonna like, what does that mean? Like, I just caught, what does that mean? So I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, now you know not to sleep on yourself. And I'm like, I was like shook because I was like, I don't understand if this is a threat or like, you literally came out here when I caught the devices, like the hidden devices attached to my name, and you're not your name, but like, basically I just got proof that you were hacking my shit too. And now you're saying like, now I know not to sleep on myself. What does that mean? So I'm immediately like, okay, this is dangerous. Like, I don't know what this is, but given everything that's happened already, I got to get the fuck out of here. Mind you, while I'm at his house, I'm doing UGC, I'm doing content. My mom is like trying to antagonize me and being like, you need help, you this, you that. And I'm like, the only help that I need is for somebody to make you leave me alone. That's it. Like, you're just antagonizing me, and I'm not even trying to talk to you. I didn't even tell her I was going to Indiana, because any opportunities that I get, she runs her mouth. And so I'm like, I literally only told my dad and was like, do not tell anybody where I'm going. I'm going to work on a project. It's an opportunity that I've never had before. I don't want anybody to know. Don't tell my mom. Like, don't tell anybody. So the whole time, she knows where I'm at because she's tracking my car. Like, she knows where I'm at. So the whole time, she's just nagging and nagging. And I'm like, listen, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to work with somebody that I don't know over music, something that was like my dream that I'm terrified of. And you're sitting here like nagging and nagging and nagging. And then it was like, you need to come get your cat. I told you I'd take care of your cat. You need to. And I'm like, can you just leave me the fuck alone? Please, leave me alone. Fuck. So I'm like, in Indiana, I'm like, we're done. You said you would take care of my cat. You said it was like your cat. You said I could come get him whenever I get ready to leave Georgia. And I've been trying to leave Georgia, but all these things are going on that aren't making sense. And then you're antagonizing me on top of that. And I can't get out of here. Like, just leave me alone. So I'm like, we're done talking, right? I don't have a relationship with you anymore. I'll hit you up when I need my cat. So I leave Indiana and I drive to Georgia. My friend from Florida hit me up and was like, said he was going through some similar things. Okay. So my plan from there was like, okay, I still need to get to Colorado. I still need to get to Oregon. I still need to get my cat, but I need to work in between that. So I'm like, maybe I'll go visit my friend in Florida, say what's up to him, get some content there, and then I'll go to Colorado and Oregon. So I hit my dad up because I was like, I'm not going back to my mom's. Hadn't lived with my dad or seen my dad since I left in October the month before, or the year before, like just a few months before, because of the falling out that we had. But I was like, maybe we can do this again, you know, like I'm not as sensitive as I was when I came back home. I've gotten a little bit like thicker skin since then. I've healed a little bit more, you know, been reparenting myself, so on and so forth. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. So I get there and I'm like, listen, when God tells me to move, I move. And so they're like laughing. They're like, ha ha ha, when God tells her to move, she moves. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but like I had to get out of there. It was weird. All of this shit is just weird. So let's go to part 3. Okay, so when I get back in Georgia, I'm like, finally I can breathe, right? I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I genuinely didn't think that my dad and my stepmom were in on it. I felt safe. I was like, thank God I'm away from my mom. I'm away from that dude that I don't know. That was dumb. I don't typically do things like that, and I knew not to do it, but like, I felt like it was a good opportunity. Nobody's ever like reached out to do something with music, and you know, so I felt like I didn't know if it was like a test from the universe. So I was like, I just have to go for it. But I was like, okay, now I feel safe. Now I can just breathe. Well, then my mom is like, hits me up. She's like, your cat, something happened to your cat. He's injured. I'm like, I just want to breathe. Like, I'm trying to get out of here, dude. I'm trying to get out of here. So for a split second, I'm like, I start to like realize that I'm being followed, but not too much. So there was like 2 weeks that I was back at my dad's. They were like, hey, you can stay here as long as you want. I was like, okay, cool. I think it's only going to be a couple weeks, and then I'm going to leave and go to Oregon and Colorado. I think I'm going to do some UGC for a couple of weeks, get some products in. That would be good if I can stay here because I can get some products in. And then also I was thinking about trying travel UGC. So maybe I'll hit up some hotels in Florida and see if I can do like a gifted exchange, a gifted collab, get some content before I leave for that too. So they were like, okay, cool. Well, at the same time, I have my mom hitting me up, telling me that my cat is injured. He needs to go to the vet. She's like, it's not that bad. It's bad. It's not that bad. We're going back and forth. And I'm like, listen, if it's not bad, I'm not going to come get him because I'm not going to do this back and forth with you. Sends me a picture of him. He looks like he's on his deathbed. So I'm like, okay, I'll come check him out. I'm just trying to get things moving so I can get out of here. But okay, I'll come check him out. I go check him out. I take him to the vet. She's like, he needs to go to the vet. And then she's like, when I get there to take him to the vet, she's like, are you really going to take him to the vet? And I'm like, yeah. He has like a hole in his side, but I don't really look at it that much. I can just see it looked like a boil in his side. He's swollen. His whole body is swollen. So I'm like, he needs to go to the vet. I want to know what happened to him. Take him to the vet. The hole that was this big when his leg was just down turned into a hole that was like this big when you opened up his leg. And you could see all the way into his muscle. She's like, whatever punctured him broke through his muscle. He's lucky if he's not going to be paralyzed. I'm like, do you think it was a BB gun? Because there was all this going on with all these other animals that my mom's like going missing. They had to put another cat down with a BB gun. These things just don't make sense. She's like, well, if he's running, it wouldn't be a BB gun because it's a weird spot. Like if he was running, they wouldn't have been able to get him right there. And I'm like, well, what if he was sitting, you know? Because I'm like, well, they put this other cat out that was in the boat. So like, but I didn't tell her this. I was just like, okay. She's like, if you want to get an x-ray, it'll be like, I don't know, $200. But it's so infected right now that we have to let it like heal first and all that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get back to my mom's and I'm like, what happened to him? What happened to him? Why does he have this hole in his side? Like, why do you not know what happened? And why are all these other cats missing and hurt, but you don't know what happened to my cat? I just don't understand. And then he has it's punctured through. And it just doesn't make sense that you don't know. And she's just like, oh, you're going to accuse me? Da-da-da-da. And then it just was a fight. And I was like, you know what? You're just going to have to take care of him. Like, I ended up, me and the divine worked it out. The divine was like, you're just going to have to let it go. And I prayed about it. I was like, I am just going to have to surrender it because I can't go back and forth with her. She's literally trying to demolish my life and tell me like I'm insane. I'm spiraling out of control. And I'm like, I'm literally just trying to like aid my cat and like get out of Georgia. That's all I'm doing. And you're sitting here just like nagging and nagging and nagging. So I'm like, I can't focus on that right now. I've got to figure out how to work and how to get out of here. I get a collab from this hotel in St. Pete. And it's like a gifted collab for like a week. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go do that. And then when I come back, like, hopefully it'll be time for me to go to Oregon and Colorado. Like, hopefully I'll be able to go. So I invited one of my old roommates that I hadn't seen in like a lot of years, or in a long time. I invited him to come down to St. Pete because I thought I ran into him in the city that I was in Georgia, in my hometown. I thought I saw him, but apparently it wasn't him, but he lived like 10 minutes down the road from my dad. So I was like, hey, what's up? You know, we haven't caught up in a long time. He was saying that he was out of work for 2 weeks. And so he was like, I can come down. I was like, yeah, there's an extra room, or there's like a studio with an extra bed or whatever that you can stay in. If you want to come down, we can catch up. So he came down. Everything was pretty much fine in Florida. I was supposed to meet up with somebody else, but I had a bad feeling about it. Didn't do that. And then I did see somebody else before I left that I hadn't seen since I lived in Florida. But everything was like pretty much kosher. Everything was like pretty good until I got back to Georgia. The story is so exhausting. So then when I get back to Georgia, I was like, I need to work on Instacart. I just basically was like out of work for a week because it was a gift to collab. So I was like kind of waiting for more products to come in. So I was like, I'm going to work on Instacart. So I start noticing that I'm being followed by Virginia people. And like, it's not just like a couple people. It's like, it's a whole like group from Virginia that is following me. They're filming me. They're taking pictures of me. Like, they're following me everywhere I go on Instacart. And I'm like, why Virginia? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know anybody in Virginia. You know, and I didn't really even know much about gang stalking at that point, but this was like the beginning of me finding it out. So then it becomes like Virginia people, Florida people. There was like a white van, and then it was veterans, and then it was Masons, and it just became like super, super overwhelming. When I came back from Florida as well, my phone, like, all the while I was being followed by these Virginia people, my phone was so hacked to a point to, like, I couldn't get in my phone. I was getting locked out of my phone. I was on the phone with AT&T, Apple, like, almost regularly to get these things sorted out. People were, like, using voice control in my phone. They were using the accessibility options, panels, like, widgets. They were using all these controls to control my phone, and it was, like, locking me out of my phone and, like, just blocking me pretty much. So mind you, I had my mom who was like trying to tell my dad like I needed to go to a mental institution, telling him I'm spiraling out of control, all this stuff about my cat. Like, the fact that they're even communicating, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So my dad is like acting a lot different than he's ever acted. Okay, he's like acting like he wants to get close, and I'm like, this is cool. Maybe he felt bad from the last time that I was here, the way things ended. Maybe he does want to get close. So I'm like, this is cool, we're working this out. But also, I'm being followed by all these people, and all this is happening with my phone, but I'm not going to tell them what's happening because I have my mom on the other end who's like, she's crazy, she's this and that. And I'm like, I've learned at this point to kind of just like sit back and observe and not tell them, and I'm going to handle it on my own. So I start to realize that I'm being filmed, or that I'm being recorded in surveillance inside of the house at my dad's, and that they're hacking my phone. And I start to find the stuff in my computer from my stepmom's computers. I start to find like all these things where I'm like, okay, so they're also hacking me too. So now it was my mom. I have these random Virginia people following me, Florida people following me, and now they're hacking me too. Like, none of this is making sense. I have no idea why I'm going through this. So I start staying over at my friend's house, right? Because I just start getting freaked out. Obviously, I'm like, I'm being freaked out. I found a device that was in my room that was either listening to me or recording me. And it's like, I'm coming out of the shower naked, and I'm like, they're really watching me, filming me. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So I start staying at my friend's house. I'm on the phone with Apple and AT&T trying to work all this stuff out. Nobody's taking this seriously, other than my friend is like trying to help me out. So I start staying over at my friend's, and then all of a sudden I get a text from my dad, and he's like, hey, I changed the locks. You can come get your stuff at 6 o'clock. I'll be home. And I'm like, I was getting my clothes and going back to my friend's. Mind you, it's only 10 minutes down the road. So I was like, just kept getting more and more of my stuff, like staying at my dad's less. So then he texts me that, and I'm like, do you mean like to get my clothes for the weekend, or like, are you kicking me out? And he doesn't respond. Let's go to part 4. There's other weird things that are going on. Like some other kind of like unworldly things that are going on that I'm not understanding too, but I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but I've like got to keep my composure, and I've got to keep all this stuff kind of to myself so I can make sense of it, because, you know, getting people in the mix of it, you know how that goes. So anyways, he texts me that. I get to his house, and he's like sits me down, and he's like, so what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? And I'm like, what do you mean what's going on with me? And he's like, well, something's wrong. What's going on with you? And I'm like, well, I'm being followed, and I'm being harassed, and my phone and my things are being hacked, and nobody is taking this seriously. So I'm just over here on the phone with Apple and AT&T every day, and at his house trying to get it taken care of because nobody is taking it seriously. Now, I wasn't about to tell him, like, I know y'all are watching me here too, because I was like, he's trying to set me up. I'm not about to tell him that, but I'm also like, yeah, you're not taking this seriously. And I'm sitting here like in a frenzy, because why am I being followed by these gangs? So he's like, well, I understand that. And he's like, well, you think we're hacking you? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I have fucking proof that y'all are hacking me, but I'm not going to say that to him. But I'm like, I told him, I was like, we're not even going to go there. So I was like, so are you kicking me out? And he was like, well, it's self-explanatory. I'm like, it's not self-explanatory. You didn't explain anything to me. So like, but I'm like, okay, I don't know if he wanted me to beg or what, but I had already talked to a family friend of mine to see if I could put my stuff over there, because I was like, I don't know what's going on with my family, but they seem like they're level-headed. I haven't talked to them in a long time. I kept channeling her names. I don't know if she was thinking of me or reaching out, or I don't know, but I was like, let me hit her up. So mind you, he was love bombing me and everything. And then once I started to pick up on them, like, stalking me, then he flipped. He like became resentful. I don't know. And the more I stayed over there, it's like he became resentful. And that's what he said. He was like, oh, you want to hang out over there? Then you can just go over there. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with you when you know what you're doing. So anyways, I go pack all my stuff. Mind you, I just got there. I was there for like maybe 2 weeks. Just got my stuff inside. Like, was just kind of like getting it back organized so I could get ready to do whatever. So I'm like repacking all my things. He's just sitting at the table watching me pack this stuff and carry it out. And I'm like, feel so betrayed. I'm like, I don't understand what is going on. So he comes out in the shed when I'm literally about to leave, and he's like, all right, honey, love ya, and hugs me. And then he's just like, peace. And I'm like, Okay, bye. So I get followed. I get followed from that county all the way like 3 counties down to go take my stuff to a family friend's house. And then I tell her what's going on. I'm like, I just got kicked out for it's self-explanatory. But there was no explanation whatsoever. Like, I don't understand. And I was like, you know, I'm being hacked and I'm being followed. I didn't tell her to a T the things that I was going through there, because everybody would just be like, oh, you're crazy. Even though I had proof, I was like, I'm not even going to go there. I was like, I'm being followed and I'm being hacked. And it's severe. It's like, it's putting a stunt in my work. I can't move forward. Like, it's, you know, it's severe. So I submitted all this stuff through the Federal Reserve, through IC3, through FBI, through all this stuff, submitted information, put her number down as like a contact. And she ordered a Faraday for me, because I talked to a private investigator. I was like, hey, I need to get this investigated because this isn't making sense to me. Everybody's full of shit. I'm finding all this proof, but they're still lying to me. And they don't have their names exactly, but like the devices are matching up and so on and so forth. So they're like, get a Faraday and then you can see if it's, you know, people that are doing it to you while you're sleeping. I'm not going to go into that. Again, there were like other small incidents that occurred between my family, that were just like odd things that don't make sense that I've talked about on my podcast. But so I take the things to her house. It's around 4th of July. I think Father's Day passed. It's around 4th of July. My friend who I'm actually living with, right? But I took my stuff to my family friend's house, just so I didn't have all my stuff at my friend's house. Kind of like, yeah, I didn't want to be overbearing at either place. And at my family friend's house, they already had a family that was staying with them. So it comes around like 4th of July weekend, or it's like Father's Day weekend, something like that. And there's an incident on a lake, okay? So like the family friend, I wasn't living with them, but I took my stuff and stayed with them. But one weekend they were like, hey, for Father's Day, I think it was around Father's Day, they're like, we're going to the lake for a birthday party. Do you want to come with us? And I was like, sure. My friend is going to be gone with his stepdad or his dad or whoever. He's going to be with his family. So like, that's fine. I'll go with you guys. So my family friend has boys, like pretty much 3 boys, right? So one of the boys was like, hey, do you want to spend the night at my house tonight? And then tomorrow we'll go to the party. We'll ride together and go meet everybody for the party. So I'm like, I didn't really want to, but I was like, I didn't want to be an asshole. So I was like, sure, I'll go. Well, I'm very particular about my keys, especially like my keys, my phone, because I'm constantly like forgetting my phone, my ADHD. Like I constantly forget my keys, constantly forget my phone. So I'm constantly checking to make sure I have them on my person. And so I went to sleep, had my keys, had my bag, all that right next to me. Well, the next morning I get up and I can't find my keys to my car. I didn't drive my car to my friend's house. It was at my family friend's house, his mom's house. So next morning I can't find my keys, but I happen to have a key fob that doesn't have the key in it. It's just the key fob. So I thank God I had that. Couldn't find my keys anywhere, but I'm like, we got to get to the lake, so it's fine. Like, I'll worry about it when I come back. So I ride with my family friend. Let's just call him my aunt and my uncle. They're not really, but I call him my aunt and my uncle. I ride with them because their son, who I stayed the night with, he went off with his brothers and his friends to go get some rope for a jet ski or something. So I ride with them to the lake, okay? As soon as I get there, it's like, it's pretty much, it's a little girl's or little boy's birthday party. I can't remember. So it's like, it's elderly people and it's like really, really young people. And then there's like the group that's like a little younger than I am, like 10 years younger than I am probably. And they're all together. So it's me kind of by myself. But the first thing that happens when I walk up is there's this guy, this bald-headed big dude. He sees me and he looks like he sees a ghost. And he proceeds to get up, pull his wife to his truck. And he's like, I'm not going to be here for this. You can tell me when it's over. You can tell me when to come get you. And I'm like, who is this guy? And why did he just look like he saw a ghost? And like, how does he know me? And what is he talking about? He's not going to be here for what? Well, this family friend of mine, my aunt, my uncle, took care of my brother. He got into a lot of trouble when he lived with them. So I thought maybe the guy knew me through him, in that he was like, I don't know, but I was like, I don't understand what this is. So like, it was just really weird the way that he was acting. He was like, I'm not going to be here for this. You can call me when it's over. So I'm like, what does that mean? I'm getting like anxiety thinking about it. Okay, so mind you, couldn't find my keys that morning, but I was like, we got to get to the lake, so it's fine. My car's there. I have my key fob. I can get back into my car. I just don't have a key to like crank my car, but it's fine. I'll figure it out later. Get to this party. The guy sees me, says he's not going to be there for that. He's leaving. He'll come and pick his wife up at the end of it. And I'm like, who are these people? How did they know me? What is he talking about? But I'm like, maybe it's just, I don't know. So we go to get on the boat, and when we get on the boat, it's like weird again. It's like there's these two boys and they're talking, they're like, they're saying my little brother, who's not connected to any of these people, they're like, that's his sister. And I'm like, who are these boys? They're younger than me. They're watching me like they're getting ready for something. We have these two men that are behind the boat. This is like a what's the boat kind of called? Hold on. What's like, I can't think right now. It's like the flat long boat that like goes slow. It was one of those boats. So we have these two guys that look like they're my age, but they're not talking to anybody on the boat that I'm on. They're on jet skis with rope behind us, but they're following us, but they're not saying anything. So we have those guys. Then we have the two boys that are younger than me that are like saying that I'm somebody's sister, and they're just watching, like they're sitting across from me the whole time, just watching, looking, watching, looking, watching. And I'm like, what is going on? So it's like, there's like two couples, my aunt and uncle, another couple, these two boys, the guys that are behind us, right? So we start to go under this bridge, and the guy that's driving, he's like standing up, and a plane flies over us, and he's like, why are they flying so low? Are they going to drop a bomb or something? And I'm like, why would he say that? And at this point, I'm like thinking, I'm like, are they just trying to fuck with me? Like, I don't understand what this is or what's going on. But I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to brush it off, because I'm like, this shit is just so weird. Let's go to part 5. Okay, so we go under this bridge. The plane is like really low. It's like I don't know what they call commercial planes. They're the small planes. It was like one of those. And it was like kind of going sideways. And he's like, what, are they going to drop a bomb or something? And I'm like, why would he say that? I don't understand. Like, everything is just so odd. I'm sitting here thinking like, am I going to have to jump off this boat? Like, who are these men behind us? Why are they not talking to them? Why are they carrying a rope? Why are these two guys looking at me like they're getting ready to do something? He's talking about a bomb, and then after that they're like, we're gonna go in this cove where nobody's at, and my stomach sank. I was like, no. Normally, like, I'm a person that does not want to be an inconvenience for anybody, and I will be uncomfortable before I'll be an inconvenience for you. They said we're gonna go in this cove where nobody's at, and my body said, no, we're not going there. And like, I couldn't fight it. I was literally thinking I was about to jump off this boat, but then there were other boats coming, and I'm like, am I going to get ran over by a boat? Like, what's happening? I truly don't understand. So they're like, can you wait? And I'm like, no, take me back. Please just take me back. And I'm like, it's my period. I started my period. Just take me back. I'm holding my composure, but really inside I'm freaking out because nothing is just making sense. So all these people look deflated. They look annoyed. And I'm like, they're just going to have to be annoyed, because they're just gonna have to be annoyed. So I get back on land, okay, I get service, and I'm looking at my, like, either my pin locations or my Find My or something, and it says that my location, I was at, like, my dad's house and my friend's house, which is, like, an hour from where I was, okay? This is where, like, I was staying at before I went to my aunt and my uncle's. But it said my car was over in that direction. Mind you, I didn't have my keys that morning. So I'm like, that's not making sense. And then all the things that just happened on the boat, that's not making any sense. So I call my friend and I'm like, hey, can you come meet me at their house? Come get me. I couldn't find my keys this morning, but I just need to get back to the house and go. Can you come and meet me? He's like, well, where are you at? Are you not over here? Because I could have swore I just saw you over here. He's like, I'm at the bank. Somebody left $200 in the ATM, so I'm about to go take this to the police department. But are you not over this way? Because I could have swore I saw you, and I was for sure it was you in your car because it had a headlight out. So I'm like, okay, no, it's not me, but I woke up this morning, didn't have my keys. I do have a headlight out on my car. In my Find My little GPS is saying that I'm over in that location near my dad's in your house, and I've been on the lake the entire time with some other weird shit going on that's not making sense. So like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know, but can you just meet me back at their house? They're gonna take me back right now. Can you just meet me there? And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get there when I can. So I get back to my car, and the whole time, at this point, I am paranoid because I'm like, nothing is making sense, and I have the proof. Like, nothing is adding up. And my keys were missing, this thing in the GPS, what he's saying, the boat, the guy, and I'm just like, nothing, it's just not making sense to me. And I don't know if these people are trying to play jokes on me or if, like, what's going on. So when I get back, my keys, I have my key fob, right? But not my actual key. I open my door and my keys are sitting in my car on my bag. And I'm like, I tore my shit up looking for my keys. I did not have my keys, okay? So he comes in down the driveway and he's like, yeah, I passed them. And I said, what's up to them? And I'm like, do you know them? And he's like, no, I don't know them, but we were in passing. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I get in my car and I'm like, can you follow me or can you follow me or can I follow you? My keys are here. They weren't here, but here they are. So I'm just going to drive. I get in my car and there's this beep like a bomb. Okay. It sounds like a beep, beep, like a timer going off. And it's either under my dashboard or under my seat, but it's like very faint. Mind you, I know what a door chime sounds like. This wasn't that. This literally sounded like a timer going off. So I'm like, stop the car. I call him. I'm like, hey, can you drive my car? There's something that's making noise. It sounds like a timer. I don't know what it is. I can't find it. Now I'm thinking if he knows anything about this, either he's going to drive the car or he's not. So like, can you drive the car? So he's like, yeah, I'll drive it. So he's like, I'm driving his car. He's driving mine. He's like, I don't hear anything. And I'm like, he's like, are you sure it's not the door chime? And I'm like, it's not the door chime. Mind you, they also said something about a bomb when I was on the boat. So at this point, I'm like freaked out. We're going back to his house. My mom lives in between my aunt, my uncles, and his house. I hadn't been talking to my mom because the whole thing with the cat. But at this point, I'm like, I'm panicking. I'm like, I don't even know who to trust at this point because he was at the ATM. Somebody left $200 and he was going to the police department. My car is missing. My keys are missing. He says he saw my car. Like this just, it's not adding up. Okay. So I hit my mom up and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, my nephew's over there, so why don't you come by and eat? And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't tell her what's going on, but I'm like, I'll be over there. In my mind, I'm like, I need to decompress and I just need to feel safe for 2 seconds. Mind you, I had screenshots of all of this. All of this I had evidence of. It was on a flash drive that ended up getting wiped. So anyways, I'm sure if they pulled up my 50,000 Apple IDs, they could find it. So anyways, I go to her house. I don't really tell her because you can't tell her anything, okay, without it going to the neighbor and this and this and that. So I really don't tell her much, but I'm like, I just need to breathe and I'm trying to play it cool, but I'm like, at least I'm safe here for a second. I'm trying to make sense of it all because I'm just like, are they really just trying to like mess with me or are they really trying to like frame me? Are they trying to harm me? Like, I don't understand what was just happening there. So this is where it just gets like, it starts to get even more exhausting because the amount of things that were happening, it was like all day, every day. And it wasn't just hacking. It was like poisoning, drugging my car, my phone, pin locations, my alarms, appointments, days missing. Like, this is where it got really, really hectic. So I'm going to come back for this part. It's like you can't really move on from something like this. You can't just, you can't. My last interaction with every one of my family members and friends was when I was in the midst of dying, pretty much, from them trying to kill me. So them turning me away, them laughing at me, kicking me out, making fun of me in the middle of them all collaborating to end my life. So that's my last interaction with them. So that's painful. And then also during the midst of that, literally having no fucking clue why I'm going to, why are they doing these things? And it's like, it went from like, it's like, once I started picking up on what they were doing, they all changed, right? Because as long as I wasn't saying anything, which I didn't know because I wasn't living with them. So I didn't know at first the extent. I knew my mom, but I didn't know everybody else was in on it, okay? So I just thought my mom was hacking me. I didn't know the extent of it, the depth of it. But then once I started to figure out everybody that was in on it, and once I would say something about it or mention it, even just one time, that's when they all changed, okay? So then you go from like, it's like a pack a fucking narcissist. That's exactly what it is. It's like you go from being loved and love bombed to thinking that you're connecting with your family. Like I hadn't been around my family like that before. So I'm connecting with all my family. And mind you, the time that we connected before this is when I was with my ex, and she was the bridge for us connecting. Because before then, I'd been on my own, didn't have relationships with them. I moved out when I was 18. Like, none of my exes, we didn't have relationships with my family like that. She was the only one, right? She was the only one. So she was the bridge, right? So then when all of that happened, separated, I became single, I was like, okay, I didn't know how to act because I was like, she made me feel comfortable around my family, because when I didn't know how to, just because I couldn't just be myself. The only reason that she was the bridge is because they were all into sports, and so there was something for us to have in common. But it wasn't me, it was just that it was her, right? So then after that, so I didn't hang out with, I didn't really know them like that. And so then I moved back from Florida. That's the first time that I'm connecting with all of them, and I'm putting myself out there to like try to connect with them and like get to know them. And it's not like but I really didn't know them. Like I left when I was 18. So like I knew my mom a little bit, but still I'd been gone my entire life pretty much. So like, and then even when I was a kid, I was alone pretty much. So it's like, I came back, they were all kind of like, not really love bombing me at first, but the second time that I came back, they were. And it's like, once I picked up on what they were doing, they all flipped. So it's not like we got into this big argument. It's like I found out what they were doing, and then they flipped. I didn't do anything. It's just I found out what they were doing, said something about it, didn't even say anything to my dad about it, said something to my dad about the overall, but not about them. My mom, yes, because I was finding shit, because she had been doing it for the longest time. So I wanted her to just admit it. Like, it was showing me while I was there. But by the time it got to my dad's, she had already fucking hammered it home, nailed it home, was like, she needs to go to a place and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my God. So you get all that, right? So I'm confused as to why my family all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, I'm shocked, because I'm like, wow, they really been playing me this entire fucking time. But now it's like I've caught on. So once you catch on to a fucking narcissist, then they discard you. So they all fucking discarded me, right? So that's how we've left the interaction. But it's like, I guess what I'm getting to now is like, I don't understand how you could let it go on for so long. But I guess the thing is like, they thought I was going to be dead before now. They didn't think that I would reach the level of consciousness that I've reached. So now the depth of what this whole entire scandal and secret is, how these people aren't who they say they are, the lovers aren't who they say they are, families all mixed in, it's not really my family, whatever the fuck this entire fucking scandal is, that's why they're not coming forward, because of the depth of these secrets, the depth of the magic, the depth of this entire thing. Because I'm sitting here, I'm like, why would they just not come forward? It's because they didn't expect me to live. They did not expect me to get to this point in my consciousness, because they didn't think I would be here. They thought I'd be gone. It just clicked. They did not expect to have to deal with this, because they thought it was impossible. They thought I wasn't going to be alive. And now that I know their secrets without me doing magic, I don't do fucking magic, okay? But because they're in secret societies, they're in cults, they're celebrities, they're in those things, and they do the spell work and the black magic and the rituals and shit. I just so happen to understand it through them, right? And through my own just like studying and researching, but I don't know shit about it. So it's just that they did not expect me to be alive to even be able to comprehend this at this extent. Because how do you explain the magic? How do you explain all this to somebody that's not affiliated with a cult? how do you explain all this to somebody that's not in a secret society? How do you explain all this when it's insider information, right? It's sacred information or secret information, whatever the fuck. How do you explain that to somebody that's not in one of those groups? They did not expect me to be alive. And it just fucking clicked. And it just solidifies everything else. It just reaffirms this entire thing. Fucking frauds and scammers. And the fact that I somehow got put and placed with these people and this family and this is beyond me. They were really banking on me being dead. They didn't think that it would get this far. That's why they're quiet. That's why they can't come forward. I'm done. I don't need to know. I mean, I would like to know, but enough said. Say less. I got it.
It's not a camera, it's a device with a transducer, transmitter, vibration from eardrum and vocal cords, sensor, and EEG. Yup, the EEG picks up your brainwaves and the operator can see what you see, speak to you in your head and put thoughts in your head, even speak through your mouth if you're not careful. Google synthetic telepathy device patents and then Google spirally ear canal device. Yeah, they exist and have existed for quite some time, at least 20 years already. You can also Google brain-to-brain interface, remote neural monitoring, V2K, and synthetic telepathy. Then there are the RF chips used in convicts and in pets. Not hard to get an RF chip for animals and put it into a human. Illegal, yes, but very easy to do. All you need is some chloroform, rohypnol, or other substance to knock the person out and then use the vet gun to insert the chip. Another very common technique is to make the person themselves believe they are crazy. They often try to do this by secretly drugging them. While under the influence, people behave differently and often do not remember what they said or did. They not only get a rep for being crazy but might begin to believe it themselves. Then there are memory erasures, a fairly recent set of drugs that came out about 7 years ago. There's the truth serum drugs and chemical hypnosis drugs. All real and developed at universities or by intelligence agencies. Many ways to mess with people. Microwave hearing is also real. It is not as strange as it sounds though. Microwaves are picked up by the human body. But like most environmental noise, it is ignored by our brains.
On the topic of mind control, something I never thought that I would experience. Or be able to really even comprehend. I just saw a video of this guy that was talking about this other guy who we have very similar stories. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but I'll tag him. Our stories are like very similar. And this other creator just made a video and was like, what's happening to him right there is they're mind controlling him, which is very true. And I've talked about this before, but this is the main part where they will try to mind control me, or how I figured it out is like, I would be talking about something that isn't something that is typically talked about in the public, right? Like it's like hidden information or sacred information or just information that they don't want people to know. And it's like, it would literally just like zap my thoughts. And sometimes it still happens. It just like, but I have to catch myself. Like once you start training yourself to be aware of it and being able to catch it really quickly, then you can just like the guy said, you can push it out. You can kind of just like, sometimes what I do with my mind is like, sometimes what I do is like, with the V2K and the mind control and this implant, people are talking constantly and people can take that however they want. You can research it, it's a thing. But people are communicating constantly and sometimes it's just so overbearing. So I literally just like imagine me just like a superhero movie where I'm just like with my mind just putting out this like shield really hard and just like pushing everything out. So I feel like it was interesting that he said that. I didn't understand everything he was talking about, but I do feel like there are a lot of people who are being gang stalked, who are TIs,
that are getting mind controlled, but they're not understanding that they're getting mind controlled because it seems like it's so subtle. It seems like it's something that's like ADHD, or it seems like it's something where we're just starting to forget things. But just notice around the time when you start to forget things, and if it goes to like a complete blank. Like if you're saying you're talking to somebody, you're talking to something, or not something, talking to somebody that, you know, just is like hidden information or stuff that they don't want you to share, and you get stopped, just take note of that. Other than that, I feel like they can't control me. Like, I feel like they can try to control me. And yeah, sometimes they'll get me with like me forgetting in the moment, but all I have to do, and it takes a second. So like in my mind, I have to literally go back. In my mind, there's like hallways, okay? And it's like I have to go back in my head and then like go down the hallway to figure out where I was to get back to my thought. And I feel like if you do that, then you're more likely to remember your thoughts. Like you're more likely to recover from the mind control, if that makes sense. So I feel like they still do it, but they're not about to control me to where I'm just like, they're just not going to be able to do that. And I feel like I'm no different than anybody else. We all have the power to push it out. We all have the power to reject it. And so reject it, eject it. So if anybody's experiencing that in the moment, especially when they're on their pages sharing and it's information that's they don't want disclosed, especially if you're a TI or a TI, then here it comes. It's like right in the moment. Then you should practice just retrieving your thought after they stopped it, and then doing that every time. And once you take note of it, it'll be a lot easier. I found out that I was being mind controlled in this house, and I was like, they would be doing it when I would be journaling. They'd be doing it when I would be journaling. They'd be doing it when I would be talking, like, and I also could feel other things. I don't know if that has to do with mind control, but they were also shocking me with like a bunch of other things, direct energy weapons, just many other things. And that's how I found out that they were trying to mind control me. I didn't think that this stuff was something that was easily accessible. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's the people, they have the connections, they have the resources, they have some stuff going on over there. So who knows? But, I think we can all be like subjected to it, especially if we're unaware. So, yeah, if you're a TI, just keep that in mind and just know that you hold the power.